Long mahalos, we look at OKO stick counter number 7. Here we have a circular club coming from our 12 o'clock in our green zone. The circular club is on an opponent's right hand. It's going to be coming from 9 to 3 across on a horizontal line. Now as we do so, once again, if we look at zones of sanctuary, there are 6 total. 4 in the corners, 1 immediately in front of our opponent, and 1 immediately behind. In this particular case, we're going to go towards our opponent's 430 zone of sanctuary outside of the weapon. So once he gets apogee, you want to be out of the way, but we need to respond before he can get that club returning back towards us. So what is our response? Put the stick down here for a minute. Once again, it's from our 12 o'clock, left foot slightly forward. We need to get off the line of the attacking, going towards our opponent's 430, our 1030. So I'm going to get off the line of the attack. My left foot's going to step towards 1030 with that little bit of a shimmy. We're going to brush block, getting off of the line of the attack, making sure that the only thing that could possibly strike at this point is my right foot. My right hand is going to come up in that scissoring motion. But the scissoring motion is going to continue the momentum of our opponent. This is our opponent's arm. I'm going to parry, bring the opponent's arm this way with that club. As my right hand comes up, I'm going to strike with my forearm and start to capture using that scissoring motion. From this point, I can use my hips and my body to manipulate my opponent and actually to pull him in for my next portion. I need to affect his noggin. I need to put him off balance. And I'm going to do that. From the beginning, here's the arm coming in and the weapon coming in. I'm going to get out of the way, and before he comes back, parry to get off the line, and bring the arm up, strike, and capture with the crook of my arm. I'm going to bring him in. As I do so, I'm going to push my left hand down. My right hand's going to come up and grab his wrist, controlling the weapon. As I do, I'm going to bring that arm in, and I'm now going to strip the weapon from his thumb while it's in the air, and I have control of the arm. As I do so, I can then continue to control his arm with my arm. I'm going to shift hands with the weapon, bring in my right hand. His arm is still in my armpit. I can then use several different types of foot maneuvers to get behind my opponent. In this particular case, I'll do an in-place twist, step behind, and hook behind his head, place the puño, the butt end of the stick, at his throat, controlling him. I can now take either a series of steps to take him down, or I can hit him with the planet and up clock, drop him down. Notice the wide kneel, pinning him to the ground, strike, cross and cover out. Once again from the front, without the stick, he comes in, step off the line, parry, trap, push down, control, strip the weapon, and switch. In place stance, change, and drop him down to the ground. Follow up, cross and cover out. That has been OKO stick counter number 7. Stay tuned for the concepts and principles. Aloha and mahalo as we look at stick counter number 7, concepts and principles. A ton in this one, so this video might be a little bit longer than normal. So with that, once again, we have this idea of parrying. A parry, it takes from the first point of contact, let's say at 12 o'clock, and pushes it to the outside of our bodies, not going beyond our shoulders. So for instance, in this left inward parry, I'm taking it from 12 and pushing it to the outside of my body. Right inward parry, doing the same thing. There's also outward parries. If I'm on the outside, especially outside of our opponent, I'm going to come up to 12 with the outside of my hand and bring it to my shoulder. In OKO, we've been calling them brush blocks, but can also be called parries, starting from 12, moving to our corners. Deviate, deflect, and control disarm in stick counter number 7. Once again, it should be a gimme. It should be something that we already know and understand. Deviate, deflect, control, and disarm. We need to deviate the line. We need to control We need to disarm and continue the technique. And once again, as with all weapons, we should be getting off the line of the attack. In this particular case, my left foot, the line here is coming into noon. I'm going to step with my left foot towards 1030. Notice I'm totally off the line of the attack with just a step with my left foot. We need to modify our opponent's height, width, and depth, giving us time. Once again, another gimme in every single one of our techniques. Now, stick counter number 7 introduces something new. Something that you've done previously in affecting arm locks, but in this particular case in controlling a weapon. As the arm's coming in and I parry it off the line, now it's off the line of my head, my right arm is going to come up. Not only is there the strike, but there's this scissoring motion allowing me to control my opponent. Now I have at least 2 points of contact, right? The scissoring motion allows us to manipulate using our body weight and momentum to modify them. We see this similarly in the American Kempo technique called flashing mace. It's a punch that comes at me from 12. I'm going to step in, use a thrusting inward block, and that scissoring motion is there, but it's going to be striking his arm. I'm going to clear it as I come in and rotate for the strike. Let me step back and show you that technique in full so you can see how it looks in motion. As I step back, punch is coming in. Thrusting inward, strike. As I come in, I'm going to clear that arm and strike across his head. Now I'm right next to him. I'm going to continue to rotate. I'm going to elbow strike, strike at the same time. Control the weapon, smack his head. Now I can continue this technique in an extension from another technique. I can continue my rotation, strike, strike, and to then take him down from behind. But the scissoring motion is very similar. Once again, that scissoring motion from the parry, scissoring. Now notice I'm not just going towards my head. I'm not going in my new noon to 6. I'm going almost creating a circle with my fist while I'm creating that scissor in flashing mace. And the same thing can be true here. I can start the strike, and then as my forearm and arm comes across, notice I'm dragging in. I'm creating what we would call frictional pull. As weapon comes in, I'm going to parry it off the line. Arm's going to come up, scissor. But as I do so, notice how it naturally brings it closer in, allowing me then to control my opponent. Thumb is the gate in stripping the weapon in this particular case, whether it's disarming somebody from a grab or stripping the weapon. The thumb is the weak point in the hand. We have the shimmy, once again taking cues from the ladies and the hula, but also is all over both Shaolin Kempo, American Kempo, Hawaiian Kempo, and Kaja Kempo. Shimmy allowing us, once I have control of him here, I can use the rotation of my hips and my upper body to jolt my opponent in his arm, causing a stuttering effect while giving me time. We have the up clock maneuver, creating room to take down our opponent, or an in-place stance change, depending on the situation. Once again, the famous phrase, hit them with the planet, is always in play. We love throwing our opponents down to the ground and controlling them, because the ground's a lot harder than we are. And once again, we have the snaking motion. Instead of snaking around their arm in a horizontal plane, now we have a snaking of the arm in a vertical plane. Snaking becomes important in quite a few techniques in different systems. The American Kempo technique for double punch, snaking talons is a prime example. With that, tons of concepts and principles. Told you this would be a long one. In OKO stick counter number 7. Aloha, mahalo, and live pono.